Hey everyone, this is Arun. I'm a certified professional coder. In this video, we're gonna see how to choose a correct diagnosis code based on the description you have on your documentation. Okay, in ICD10CM book, you have two sections. The first section is Alphabetical Index. In Alphabetical Index, you have to check the main term. The main term always starts in the left-hand side. uh, it is in bold type and the first letter is in capital letter, whereas in the subterm was indented to the right from the main term, and it's in regular type. The first letter is in lowercase. Once you identify the correct diagnosis, you have to cross check in the tabular list in the second section of the ICD-10CM book. This video, we're going to see how to choose the correct diagnosis in AAPC. Some people use supercoder, but I usually use AAPC. I have few examples to check in AAPC. Okay, here we have the condition chest pain. In chest pain, the main term is pain. Chest is the body area. So in AAPC, I'm typing pain. This is the main term. ICD-10CM diagnosis and injuries, we have pain. Also, we can check painful. So I'm clicking pain. We have a body area, it's chest, right? So we have to check chest. Here we have chest. The main term is pain and the subterm is chest. It is indented right from the main term. So we do not have more specificity on the chest, like there is no specificity like anterior, atypical, or ischemic. We just have chest pain. So I have diagnosis R07.9. We have to check this diagnosis with the tabular list. Okay, I'm gonna click this diagnosis to check whether it's appropriate or not. R07.9, we have chest pain unspecified. This is the correct DX for the chest pain. Okay, let's move on to the next example. We have low back pain. The main term here is pain. The body area, the subterm is low back. So I'm just typing main. It's a little bit slow. Okay, ICD-10CM, pain. This is the main term, and the subterms are indented to the right. The body area we have is low back. It's in alphabetical order. So L, low back. We have a low back. We do not have more specificity. So I got diagnosis M54.50. I'm going to check this in the tabular list. You can check this in the tabular list, but I'm going to click and verify the diagnosis. Here we have low back pain unspecified. The diagnosis is M54.50. Okay, next example is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Here the main term is disease. Pulmonary is a body area. Obstructive chronics are types. So disease, I'm going to type the main term, disease. One second, it's loading. Okay, disease, we got disease in ICD-10CM. Then we have a body area, it's pulmonary. In alphabetical ladder, it's Okay, pulmonary, where is? Okay, pulmonary. Also, we can check disease lungs. I'm gonna click this plus sign, it's in the right. Okay, then we have chronic obstructive, right? So this is the correct DX. J44.9, the right one. I'm gonna check whether this is a correct one or not. J44.9. We got it. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, unspecified. If you have more specificity, you can go on that. I don't have more specificity, so I'm choosing J44.9 on this. Okay, the next one is end-stage renal disease. The main term here is disease. Renal is the body area. End stage is a stage, whether it's first, second, third, or whether it's end stage. It's a type of stage. So I'm gonna check in disease. We already have disease as a main term. So I'm gonna check renal. Renal. Okay. We have renal. Then we have end stage. Here we have acute or chronic or end stage. We have end stage. So the diagnosis is N18.6. I'm going to check whether this is the appropriate one or not by clicking it. Here we have end stage renal disease. The correct diagnosis is N18.6. Okay. The next one I have is congestive chronic diastolic heart failure. Here the main term is failure and the subterms are body area and whether it's acute or chronic and diastolic or systolic and congestive or not. I'm gonna type failure, some main term. Failure, ICD10CM failure. I'm gonna click this plus sign. In subterm, it's intended to the right. We have to check the body area. We know that heart is the body area. Heart. Under heart, we have diastolic. Under diastolic, we have chronic congestive. So this is the correct DX, I50.32. I'm going to click this one to confirm the diagnosis. Chronic diastolic heart failure, congestive type. We have chronic diastolic heart failure, congestive type. Correct diagnosis is I50.32. Then we can move on to next example. It's bilateral inguinal hernia, recurrent type. Here the main term is hernia. Inguinal is the body area. And recurrent is the type. Here I'm going to type hernia. Here I can see hernia. We have to check the body area. It's intended to the right. Inguinal. Alphabetical index. It's in here. Inguinal. We have bilateral, right? Bilateral inguinal hernia. So I'm going to click this bilateral. Under bilateral, I see recurrent, right? That means we have to check like hernia, inguinal, then bilateral, then recurrent. I'm going to click this to confirm the diagnosis. So we got bilateral inguinal hernia without obstruction or gangrene, recurrent. So the correct diagnosis is K40.21. The next one is chronic obstructive asthma. here the main term is asthma. Sometimes you don't get the correct word. That time you have to check the alternative words. For example, the alternative word I use for asthma is pulmonary disease. Pulmonary disease or disease under pulmonary. Disease, pulmonary is a body area, right? Okay, here you got pulmonary disease under pulmonary. You got chronic obstructive. This is the correct DX for asthma. I'm gonna click this one and I'm just gonna confirm this. So chronic obstructive pulmonary disease unspecified, we got J44.9. So for chronic obstructive asthma, the correct DX is J44.9. Not always we get the right word in the documentation. We have to check the alternative words sometimes. Okay, we can move on to the next example. Next one is type 2 diabetes with diabetic nephropathy. Here the main term is diabetes mellitus. It's a type 2, it's a type, and we have diabetic nephropathy as well. So I'm gonna type diabetes mellitus as a main term, and I'm gonna check the type, whether it's type 1 or type 2. Here we have type 2 diabetes. It has only 3 characters. The ICD10CM tells that there is a 4th digit is required. I'm going to click this plus sign. Here we have a lot of conditions, and here you cannot find nephropathy word nephropathy. That means you have to check the alternative word. Nephro means kidney. So type 2 diabetes mellitus with kidney complication. I'm going to click this plus sign because this has only 4 digits. ICD-10-CM tells us there should be a 5th digit required to complete this diagnosis. I just click the plus sign. Here we have type 2 diabetes mellitus with diabetic nephropathy. Okay, we got the diabetic nephropathy. I'm going to click the diagnosis and confirm whether it is correct or not. Okay, finally we got type 2 diabetes mellitus with diabetic nephropathy. The correct ICD is E11.21. And thanks for watching the video. If you have any doubts, comment below. I'll help you out.